As the sun sets, it's Wednesday the 28th, Feb 2024. The circus had a hearing today, and they attempted to try and find some stuff. I don't know why they're bothering. I don't know how long this nonsense is going to carry on. They attempted to see if they could find something on Hunter Biden and the Biden family. I mean, it's not like they spent the large proportion of the last couple of years looking for garbage. And today was the piece of resistance in garbage hunting. They found absolutely... I'm waiting. Nothing. Literally nothing. Like the sky is dark. They found nothing. How much money was wasted in looking for nothing? At some stage, maybe James Comer, Jim Jordan, Marjorie Taylor Greene and co., perhaps they should be investigated.
You know, I'm just waiting on the point that the American people, in the words of my amazing soror, Fannie Lou Hamer, get to the point that they are sick and tired of being sick and tired. I mean, here's the reality. You're talking about an impeachment inquiry, and we know that Republicans could care less about facts. That is the reason that I said in the hearing in which we were going over whether or not they were going to find Hunter in contempt, I said the reason he would not want to testify behind closed doors is because all they do is lie. And I can tell you there is some lie that they are working on spinning coming up out of here. But let me tell you something. They have done nothing more than lie to the American people over and over and over, and they don't care. And it's because the American people, for whatever reason, are not sick and tired of being sick and tired. Because here's the deal. We have an impeachment that is now pending against Mayorkas, yet we still don't have the high crime nor the misdemeanor. They don't care about facts. They don't care about facts at all. We do. And maybe that's the problem with the Democrats right now. Because we do care about facts. Because we thought that they mattered. But clearly they don't. All they want is a spectacle. And the spectacle right now is putting us in a sense of danger. Not just in this country, but in this world. It is putting our allies in danger. Because right now what they're doing is they're peddling Russian lies. Basically, the Republicans have become synonymous for Russians at this point. It is a disgrace, and I'm just imploring the people to become sick and tired of being sick and tired. Because let me tell you, if there was something that they could tie this president to, I would be the first one to be upset. Because I am an American first. I was elected by my district to represent them as U.S. citizens. I wasn't here to do the peddling of any president. But at this point in time, just like the BS that we see going on with the other impeachment, there is nothing more than BS. And we know that you can't have something that is built on a house of cards. We know that there is no foundation. So the fact that we even showed up today, and we showed up early, and it wasn't to make sure that we could keep the lights in the government open. That's not why we showed up early. We showed up early because they wanted to take an opportunity to take punches at the president's son. And I am going to re-urge the American people to recognize. We're talking about his son. We're talking about someone who is an actual citizen, just a regular citizen. We're not talking about somebody who could not pass a background check, yet somehow ended up being appointed to his administration. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a son that was struggling, a son that lost his mom, a son that lost his brother, a son that lost his sister, a son that has had a father that has been in politics since he was 2 years old. This has been his life. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he can't do. I'm telling you that this is a waste of time, and we need to get back to this people's work. I am tired. The Republicans are going to lose the House, and y'all run this back for them when they do. They're going to lose the House because they have lost focus of what our job is, and our job is to take care of the American people, and that's the last thing that they've done.
Well, I thought it was a very good deposition for us. We were able to confirm a lot of the wrongdoings through Hunter Biden's testimony. Hunter was asked about specific transactions with specific LLCs, that many of whom that I've referred to as shell companies. We got his answer on the record.
Exit question: on a scale of 1 to 10, how damaging was today's testimony or deposition to Hunter Biden? Jason Smith, you go first. 1 to 10, 10 being the worst.
Well, I would say that they're pretty good at not recalling many things, so I would say an 8.
Okay, James Comer.
I'd say an 8.
Okay, Jim Jordan.
Yeah, Sean, Sean, I think it was very good for us. As I said, I think we got a lot of information that we can use if, in fact, we have a public hearing, as Chairman Comer is talking about.
House, Mike Johnson of Louisiana. Mr. Speaker, thank you for being with us. First reports were that they ganged up on you yesterday. Joe Biden, Mitch McConnell, and Chuck Schumer. Any truth to that?
Well, the reports were pretty accurate. They said that I was on an island by myself, and it was me versus everyone else in the room. What the liberal media doesn't understand, Sean, is that if you're here in Washington and you're described as a leader that's on an island by themselves, it probably means you're standing with the American people. And that's what I did yesterday. I reminded the president and all involved that the #1 issue in America is that open border, the catastrophe that we have that Biden took office. You know, President Trump had there was such a distinction between these two leaders. You know, he built the wall.
I think that those comments there may raise some questions for people watching at home. Would you vote for Donald Trump over Joe Biden?
No, absolutely not. I mean, for me, there are two factors in deciding who I want to have as the leader of my country and the person who is the example of the president for my kids and my grandkids. One is their position on policies. And on foreign policy, I'm not aligned with Donald Trump, at least as I understand his policy. On domestic policy, yeah, I align with many of his domestic policies. But there's another dimension besides policy, and that's character. And I think what America is as a nation, what has allowed us to be the most powerful nation on earth and the leader of the earth, is the character of the people who have been our leaders, past presidents, but also mothers, fathers, church leaders, university presidents, and so forth. Having a president who is so defaulted of character would have an enormous impact on the character of America. And for me, that's the primary consideration.
Senator Mitt Romney.
And Dan Goldman, I don't think we have the soundbite queued up, but I think Dan Goldman came out and said, oh yeah, Hunter had nothing to do with foreign governments, but Jared Kushner did. That narrative come up?
Again, I'm not going to get into what came up in this interview today, this deposition, but the idea that Jared Kushner did something wrong is ridiculous. I mean, the Trump family that has been investigated more than any family on the planet, and what they've attempted to do to President Trump and been doing to President Trump over the last 7 years is unbelievable. So, again, I don't want to get into that, but I will say this.
Well, let's do this. Let's do this, Congressman.
Contradicted people today.
All right, so Congresswoman, you're saying there was a break in the deposition.
Yeah.
And Hunter Biden stands up in front of everybody and walks right over to Nancy Mace.
Correct.
And tries to schmooze you.
I guess he thinks he's a smooth talker. He was way overconfident today. He and Abby Lowell were patting each other on the back. But yeah, that is the first thing he did when he got up from the chair.
Congresswoman, does he like shake your hand? Does he say, hey, listen, Mace, come on, I'm a good guy? Like, what does he say?
No, he stuck his hand right out and shook my hand and looked me in the eye to tell me he was not evil. And my response was he was defiant and dishonest today throughout his testimony.
No one thinks he's evil. We just think he's crooked, and so is his father.
Correct.
All right, so
what are the Democrats doing? They are paying liberal students to register more liberal students with taxpayer money. Imagine if Donald Trump, while president, impacted an election and influenced voters with taxpayer money. We know the impeachment papers would already be drawn up and signed.
Yeah.
But
could
Jesse,
you imagine, Lara, could you imagine?
The radical left Democrats are at it again. They're constantly making up stories about me because their candidate is a mental and physical basket case. There's never been anything like it. He's also the worst president in the history of our country. He went on a very poorly rated show last night, and he talked about Donald Trump and his wife. I don't know the name of my wife. He was referring to the fact that at CPAC, where I had a sold-out speech, the biggest audience they've had in years, I think maybe ever, I made the statement that Melania was very popular because when I mentioned her name, the audience went wild. I then looked at the two people, man and wife, Matt and Mercedes Schlapp, and I said, wow, they really like the First Lady. So this got taken as the fact that I thought Mercedes was the First Lady. It has nothing to do with that. These people are really dishonest. They are absolutely something. They have a horrible candidate who's a horrible president. They make up things constantly. You take a look at when I use Barack Hussein Obama and I interject him into where it's supposed to be Biden, and I do it purposely for comedic reasons and for sarcasm, because a lot of people say that Obama's running the country, not Biden, because he's sleeping all the time. They say, oh, I don't know the name of the president. Or when I imitate this guy getting off a stage, what they do is they say, oh, he had trouble getting off a stage. I have no trouble getting off a stage. Anybody that watches what I do at rallies would say, wow, that's amazing. He can go 2 hours without a teleprompter in not making even a little mistake. Very few people, maybe almost nobody, can do what I do. So here's the story. The disinformation of the Democrats is unbelievable. They do it because they have a horrible candidate. Don't associate me with the mental midget that you portray, because I want to tell you, he should not be leading this country. And hopefully on November 5th, he's not going to be. We're going to have a big election. We're going to have a big victory.